Hello, and welcome to the Wholesaling and Flipping Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing how to grow your business. Now, question today is, what is a motivated lead? What does that mean? You see the motivated seller. We see that all the time. And I got to tell you, in my experience, it's not what you think. What you think when you get into this business is that you're going to buy a list and you're going to market to the list, and a lot of people are going to answer the phone, and some of them are going to want too much money, but a few of them are going to be so motivated, they're going to say, I want to sell immediately for any price. And that's usually not what happens. All right. Occasionally it does. Very rare. More likely, in the words of the great Greg Helbeck, you're going to have a reasonable lead, a reasonable seller. Now, what does that mean? That means that you need some motivation. They have to want to sell, but people are not stupid. And most people are not in a situation where they need to sell at any price. Most people are restricted, right? They can't sell at any price because, let's say, they owe money and they need to pay it off. They can't sell immediately because they have no place to go. Most likely, they're going to call you and want to sell to you and understand that they are selling it to you or me for less money than they can get, that they're going to sell it for less. In return, in exchange for the certainty and convenience that that we provide, right? I provide the certainty of knowing that the number I give is the number they're going to get, and the certainty of knowing that they can close whenever they want, whether that's quickly or more likely in a long time, right? They may have no place to go and they want just to be able to close on their own timeline and not on a buyer's timeline. And then there's the convenience of not having to show the property, of not having to clean up the property, of not having to deal with some kind of issue with the property. And that is what we provide. So you want someone who understands that, believe it or not. People think when they get into this business that if they say the words to a seller, hey, why don't you list it, they're going to lose a deal because they're going to go list it instead of selling it to them. I've never met or spoken to a seller that doesn't know that they can't list their property, right? They know. They sell to me because of something to do with the house or something to do with their situation that makes them not want to go through the traditional listing channel, right? And it could be something that you don't think of. It could be something like they had a horrible experience with a realtor at one point who ripped them off, screwed them over, whatever it was, and they don't want to deal with that again. It can be a situation where they would try to sell a property and the buyer screwed them, and after keeping the property in contract for 4 months, screwed them, and then they end up selling it for less. It can be all kinds of weird things that you don't count on. And you got to find out what these things are so that you know where you stand. For example, right now there's a lot of really tired, pissed off landlords because tenants are not paying rent. Now, when I hear that, I know a couple things. I know they can't sell at retail, right? Because a retail buyer, a regular normal buyer, is not going to buy an occupied property, especially with a tenant who's not paying rent. And most other investors are not going to buy occupied properties either. So I know I have a pretty good chance of getting this property if they can deal with my price, right? Sometimes they can't sell for what I need to buy it because they owe too much money or whatever reason. But if they own it free and clear, they're going to probably take a significant discount because they don't have a lot of options. Most investors won't take it, and they can't really sell it in the traditional method. So your job as an investor is to dig and find out what their problem is and see if it's a problem that you can solve. That's really the approach you need to take every single time you talk to a seller. You're not taking advantage of anybody. Let's be honest. This is a voluntary transaction. The idea that I can come in and steal a property from someone. The stupid thinking that I see that goes on here where, wholesalers and investors are ripping people off. We don't rip anybody off. They agree to sell us a property at a price, and they understand that they are going to sacrifice some of the money for the certainty and convenience that we provide. And it's exactly the same thing in every transaction that you do, if you think about it. I've spoken about this before. You go to Starbucks and you pay $4.85 for a cup of coffee that costs the people there, the company, 20 cents to make. Are they ripping you off? No, you don't want to buy a machine. You don't want to buy milk. You don't want to buy cups. You don't want to buy a cover. You don't want to buy a stirrer. You don't want to buy the creamers. You don't want to buy the sweeteners. You just want to go in and get it. And you're paying 20 times the actual price, the cost that the person selling it to you is. But you want the certainty and the convenience. You know it's there and it's easy. And that's how it works on every single transaction that happens, if you think about it, right? You're paying a premium or giving up money for certainty and convenience in some regard, right? You think when you buy a car, it's any different? The dealer's making, 10% on your thing, on the sale. But you don't have the ability to go looking for this car anywhere and trying to find it somewhere cheaper. You might be able to find it cheaper in the part of the country. You don't want to go to that part of the country. You are paying for the certainty and convenience of getting what you want when you want it. And that is exactly what happens with every seller when a seller sells us a house. They know that they are getting less money for this house because we are providing the certainty and convenience most of the time it's convenience of not dealing with a traditional process. And it's not what you think. It's not, hey, I'm desperate, I'm going to lose this house in 15 minutes. I got to move in a week. It's usually not that. It happens once in a while, but it's usually not that. It's usually like, I don't want to deal with the long process. I don't want to pay a commission. I don't want to pay closing costs. I understand that you're making money on it. They know we're making money. I tell them all the time. I have said the following line to sellers 1,000 times. I'm an investor. I have to buy it at a discount because I have to make money. If you want full retail, if you want full price for this house, please, you can list it. You should list it. You have somebody list it. Now, I'll take the listing too because I'm a licensed broker, but you say it to them. If you want to squeeze every dollar out of this property, you should list it. That'll get you the most money. That uncovers so much when you say that to somebody. Right? When you say, listen, I may not be your best option. I have to buy it at a discount. I have to make money. So what is a motivated seller? I didn't really answer the question. To me, I define a lead as anybody who wants to sell a property in an area that I want to buy. That's how I define it. But what you're going to find is that a lot of the sellers are not what you think traditionally are motivated sellers that need to sell right away and are going to give you a lowball price that they're going to accept. Sellers need some type of motivation to want to sell, but more likely it's just they are reasonable in realizing that selling to an investor has certain advantage for them, that they're willing to accept less of a price for it. Most sellers are not stupid. Most sellers are not thinking, this investor is giving me top dollar. So you need to reframe your thinking to help you understand how to talk to sellers. Now, a lot of what I discussed is psychology, and a lot of that's in my course. If you're interested in the course, if you're interested in finding out different ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you like these videos, please like them, thumbs up. And if you have any comments or any questions on any topics you want me to cover, please put it in the comments. I'm happy to help you in any way. This was from a comment, and I want you to keep the comments coming because it helps me figure out what to say every day, because sometimes I wake up and I say, well, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about today. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it.